Diabetes is a disease that causes high levels of sugar to stay in the bloodstream. This high sugar level causes the destruction of vital blood vessels and can result in blindness, amputations, kidney failure, stroke, heart attack, and death. However, with proper treatment, most diabetics can live a relatively normal life. Type 1 diabetes is usually diagnosed in children and young adults and was previously known as juvenile diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, the body does not produce insulin. Insulin is a hormone that is needed to convert sugar, starches, and other food into energy needed for daily life. Only 5 to 10% of people with diabetes have this form of the disease. Type 2 diabetes is much more common and is most often diagnosed in people over the age of 45. A tendency towards type 2 diabetes is genetic. However, the onset of the disease is often caused by poor diet and exercise. In Western cultures where we tend to eat too much fatty and starchy foods, type 2 diabetes is widespread. However, in other cultures with less fat and starch in their diet, type 2 diabetes is rare. Today, there are around 24 million people in the United States with diabetes, and another 57 million have prediabetes, a term for those beginning to develop the disease. Diabetes-related deaths are around 250,000 per year in the United States, making it one of the top killers among all diseases. Minorities and those over the age of 60 are especially hard hit by this disease. Around $250 billion per year is spent on diabetic treatment and related medical costs. Fortunately, there are many treatments available for those diagnosed with diabetes. The most simple being to check for blood sugar levels often, to regularly see your doctor and optometrist to stay on top of potential complications, to eat a diet tailored to your condition, and to follow a regular exercise regimen. In some cases, medications will also be prescribed. Unfortunately, though these simple steps can prevent death and complications in the vast majority of patients, most patients do not follow this treatment plan. In its early stages, diabetes does not hurt or present with readily identifiable problems for those diagnosed. Some people may notice thirstiness, fatigue, or sores that do not heal, while others may notice no symptoms at all. Often, the best way to find out if you have diabetes is to get a blood test during your annual physical. Many diabetics avoid treatment or do not follow treatment guidelines until it is too late. Even when told by a doctor they will die if they do not start following the guidelines, many patients simply continue their current lifestyles.
As you can see in the map of the United States, diabetes has reached epidemic levels, contributing to the deaths of nearly 250,000 people per year. The southern states are especially hit hard due to the regional diets and the tendency for diabetes to be much more prevalent in minority populations. However, in this chart showing diabetes in Arizona, you can see that we are unfortunately catching up with the states with the highest diabetes rates. Our Native Americans and recent immigrants are hardest hit. There are many terrible conditions caused by diabetes if left uncontrolled. One such side effect is blindness. This is what a healthy eye looks like. High blood sugars cause the capillaries and critical parts of the eye to be destroyed. Uncontrolled diabetes causes up to 24,000 cases of blindness per year. In fact, it is the leading cause of blindness in people aged 20 to 74. In many cases, diabetics will start losing their sight, but ignore this condition or attribute it to other causes. Diabetics need to regularly see their doctor and optometrist to monitor the condition of their eyes.
I think about it every day. I guess I had no idea. I know my doctor kept telling me to make sure to check my blood sugar levels several times a day, to eat certain foods, to get regular eye exams. But you hear that stuff all the time. Do this, do that, be healthy. I was so young, I never really thought anything would happen to me. I didn't hurt, I felt fine, did everything just like my friends. One day, I started having trouble seeing. It was kind of like having a contact lens in backwards. At first I thought I had just overdone it the night before with my friends. Kept making excuses as to why I had holes in my vision. As the week wore on and my eyesight got worse, I started to really worry. I had my friend take me to the emergency room because I didn't feel safe driving with holes in my eyesight. When I got to the doctor, he told me that he asked if I had diabetes. I mean, how could he know? I was there for my eyes. That was the start. The doctor said that the damage from not taking care of my diabetes was irreversible. Now I'm totally blind. I think it must be worse to know how it is to see than to be born blind and not know what you're missing. Have blood sugar level tests a couple times a day, eat the right food, see my optometrist. I can't believe that I'm blind because I didn't take a few simple steps.
Diabetes causes damage to the blood vessels in a person's extremities. As a result, it can cause poor circulation, numbness, and even kill off tissue from lack of circulation into oxygen. Due to the numbness, diabetics may be unaware that this is happening. That is why diabetics need to see their doctor for regular foot checkups, and they need to practice self-examinations. When feet begin to rot, gangrene often develops. The rotting tissue then creates deadly toxins that will quickly kill the patient. To prevent this, amputation is often necessary. Nearly 100,000 amputations occur each year due to uncontrolled diabetes.
I love my hamburgers. Well, I knew I was putting on a little extra weight. Well, to be blunt, I was fat. Plus, I had a high-stress job, so when I get home, I'd watch TV to unwind, usually after stopping at a fast food joint on the way home. My doctor told me to come in regularly and check my diabetes. With the time. Plus, I got out of the habit of checking my blood sugar. Thing never seemed to work right anyway. Always too high. I had a lot of warning signs, though. My ankles were swelling. I started to get tingly in my fingers and toes. Every time I went to the doctor, he just lectured me about my diabetes. Frankly, I got tired of hearing about it. My feet kept getting numb. I wasn't very good about checking them. Plus the extra weight I had, I couldn't barely bend over far enough to see the bottom of them. I had no idea I had sores on my feet. One day I took my shoes and socks off, and I had pus and blood in my shoes and socks. I rushed down to the hospital. They showed me the bottom of my feet in a mirror. It was like a war movie or a horror picture. Yeah, I thought I was upset until I found out they couldn't do a thing for me. They said that the vessels in my feet had shrunk, stopped working due to the diabetes. They said that's what caused the numbness and swelling. Now the wounds were so bad that the skin had died and turned to gangrene. Now they have to amputate both my feet or I'm going to die from the toxins. Well, I was in shock. I mean, one minute I'm watching TV, next minute I'm losing my feet. I look back now and I wonder how I could have been so stupid. I mean, I'm trying now, but I still don't eat right. You'd think that losing my feet would have changed me more. I don't know what's wrong, and I keep doing things that are going to kill me.
Diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure. The kidneys filter your body of impurities. High blood sugar levels put a heavy strain on them. Around 200,000 people in the United States are on kidney dialysis or awaiting a kidney transplant as the result of uncontrolled diabetes. Often, uncontrolled diabetics have damage to other areas as well and may not be good prospects for transplants, even if an appropriately matched kidney becomes available.
I remember starting to have swelling in my feet, ankles, and lower legs. That was pretty much it. I felt fine. When I was first diagnosed with diabetes, they tell you all the horror stories, so you get scared for a while. I did the blood testing and kind of followed the food and exercise for a while. I would look at my feet and my eyesight seemed fine. After a while, everything seemed to be about the same, and I got out of the good habits. I started eating stuff that was bad for me again. I have a thing for ice cream and pizzas, hot dogs, and that kind of stuff. I would get tired a lot, but I figured that was because I was a bit overweight and didn't really exercise that much. I always told myself that next month I would start all over with my diabetes routine. That would always turn into the month after that. I started feeling pretty poorly, so I went back to see my doctor. I didn't really want to because I knew they would just lecture me about the same things again. But I was wrong. After some tests, I was referred to the hospital for more tests. Turns out I had kidney failure. End-stage renal disease, they called it. A nice way of saying, you are going to die. The only thing to prolong my life is to do kidney dialysis or to get new kidneys. Unfortunately, as a non-compliant diabetic, I don't get ranked very high on the organ transplant list. I had no idea how bad dialysis is. You sit hooked up to a machine for hours, getting your blood pumped in and out to get the toxins out of it. I sit in a storefront office with about a dozen other people getting dialysis, all of them dying, just like me. The procedure wears you out until you are too weak to walk or function. I have to have my family and friends drive me there and then pick me up and take me home. I get home and crash. The next day, I am so tired, I mostly sleep and watch TV. After that, back to dialysis. Every other day for the rest of my short life. I wondered how everyone else got in the dialysis room with me. Turns out that over 90% of the dialysis patients at the clinic are people who didn't take care of their diabetes, just like me. I almost wish someone had given me dialysis for a week early on. I definitely would have taken care of myself better. Now it's too late.
Diabetes can damage the heart by destroying the small blood vessels that bring it vital nutrients and oxygen. A healthy heart is dark with healthy vessels bringing it fresh blood. A diabetic heart changes its whole look as it gets increasingly starved of oxygen and nutrients. The damage done by uncontrolled diabetes is often irreversible and may not be noted until the diabetic has a sudden heart attack, resulting in death.
When a diabetic is not controlling the sugar levels in their blood properly, it is constantly damaging their body. Most of this damage is permanent, and by the time they realize how bad it is too late to reverse. Even worse, if your vision is damaged, you probably have a damaged heart, kidneys, and circulation as well. The poor person is not usually hit with just one problem, but a whole multitude at once. Look, I can't begin to get you to understand how hard it is for me to look a patient in the face and tell them they're going to die. It is all that much harder knowing that with some simple steps on their part, they could have led a long, normal life. It still shocks me when I have a diabetes patient come in with foot problems and I look at their feet and they're rotting and gangrene has set in. If only patients would come in twice a year to get their feet checked, we could prevent a lot of amputations. Or I get someone who's losing their eyesight due not to controlling their diabetes, or their heart or kidneys are giving out on them. Now, as a doctor, you can accept that some patients are beyond your control. And sometimes people will die in car accidents or will have a rare disease with no treatment. But it is unacceptable to have so many people dying and having terrible things happen to them because they won't control their type 2 diabetes. It is so simple and so treatable, and yet people die because they won't take care of themselves. Look, it doesn't have to end this way. It should never end that way. I know a lot of people with type 2 diabetes are overweight. They've tried numerous diets and exercise plans and failed. They think they can't control their weight, so why even try? With diabetes, it's about eating the right foods at the right time, not about starving yourself. The goal is to keep your blood sugar at the right level. This means substituting some foods and eating smaller meals several times a day instead of just a few big meals. That is why you need to monitor your blood sugar regularly, at first 5 or 6 times a day. You will learn what foods and what times to eat to keep your numbers where you need them to be. You can eat all sorts of foods as a diabetic, and with a little research, it should be pretty easy to maintain. Some folks are intimidated when you mention exercise. Moderate activity can help immensely. Just walking your dog or taking a walk with your spouse or friends every other day for 30 minutes can do wonders. Window shopping at the mall, golfing and carrying your own clubs, that's a good idea. Swimming and many other activities can help you keep your blood sugar in check. Now, you don't have to become a workout nut at the gym to control your diabetes. All right, listen. The last step is to see your doctor regularly. Get your eyes checked and feet checked regularly. Get your blood work done and follow your doctor's orders. Let me say that again. Follow your doctor's orders. As a doctor, believe me, I only give you orders to help you save your life. And finally, I know this video was scary. It was meant to be. If you or a loved one have diabetes and don't take care of it, these things will happen. Uncontrolled diabetes will kill you. All right, so remember these 4 simple steps. 1, test your blood sugar regularly. Don't cheat. 2, eat the right foods at the right times. Enjoy. 3, start a moderate activity routine that you enjoy and can maintain. And 4, see your doctor regularly and do what they tell you. With diabetes, by the time you have the terrible side effects, it's too late. You need to follow these 4 steps now. Don't wait until it's too late. Thank you for watching. I wish you a happy and healthy life.